Hey, Ezra here. Welcome to a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Smart Holiday. That's a long name. Boot Camp bonus section. We have on the call today a very special guest who you see pictured here, Allison Matheny, who's our creative director at Boom, who's going to talk us through, like, Allison is responsible for why we look so good and why it feels like Boom has really leveled up our just presence online. And I get a lot of comments in my Blue Ribbon Mastermind and from people who are following our brand, like, what did you guys do? What we did was we found Allison, and we knew that this was a long time coming, and it's something that we could afford to invest in. So, Allison, are you with us?
Yep. Hello.
Let me see. Hey, there you are. Okay, cool. So, thanks for coming on the call and sharing some of your expertise. Um, will you talk a little bit about what you do for brands?
Sure. Well, my name's Allison, and I'm a creative director. I have a creative design studio called Best that I run. We work for Boom, and we work as Boom's kind of creative support team. We do this for other brands too. We do soup to nuts visual language stuff. So that includes graphic design, that includes branding, that includes photo shoot production and art direction. Um, and what we're really passionate about is helping brands to create a cohesive aesthetic around their product or their service. And that in turn um, kind of translates to the experience that their consumer gets.
That's
So
awesome.
that's what I do.
It's really good. It's best. It is the best. So let's, you're talking about cohesive aesthetic, which is something I want to dive right into. So let me just set the sort of confines for the discussion. Let's set the container, which is we're talking specifically about a sale campaign. In this case, the holiday sale campaign. But this sort of idea and the strategies we're going to look at can be used for any campaign, a new product launch, a sale campaign, whatever. But the point is that um, we're going to be talking about store owners, two store owners who have six-figure plus stores who are all looking to maximize their Black Friday and Cyber Monday potential, some of whom who have not had the surplus in their business to really think about the cohesive look and feel of a sale campaign. So will you pull up the concept documents for the campaign and kind of we'll talk a little bit through the
Sure.
concept, knowing that most of these people are going to be working with a graphic designer and with the assets of they have some product images and they have access to a graphic designer. They're probably not going to be doing like photo shoots specific to the campaign. So it's going to also be, we'll give all the information of what we're doing now at the scale we're at, where we can afford to like do a photo shoot specifically for a campaign, but then also talk about how like you would do it if you didn't have that resource.
Sounds good. I'm going to share my screen. Cool. All right, can you see this? Okay, so yeah, like you said, for any kind of campaign, I think it's an opportunity for you to give your audience something special. It's an opportunity for you to create some fresh assets that they're not used to seeing and drum up excitement around whatever sale or message you're trying to get out to them. So um, I'll just walk through two concepts that we presented to Boom around the, and this is specific for the holiday campaign. So in thinking about this, we wanted to, first of all, obviously think about the customer, think about the audience, thinking about the assets that we push out to them on a regular basis, and then elevating that a little bit, giving it a little element of surprise, what's special about holiday. That's kind of the background thinking, while still keeping the foundation of the brand, still keeping in mind the color palette of the brand, and still making it feel like Boom, just Boom for the holidays. So here we go. So the first concept that we presented was prop extravaganza. And this, like Ezra said, is, we're lucky because we were able to do a photo shoot for this. So these concepts are kind of driven toward that. But you could definitely think about ways to execute this without a photo shoot and with the assets that you already have. So for this, it's
And
photography
one of the
based.
things to point out here is I don't think people are familiar with the concept of a mood board and how they might leverage that with a graphic designer by putting examples on it. So I think, can you bring us into the room about like what a mood board even is, and then they could even take examples of other people's ads and stuff and just send it to their graphic designer and say, hey,
Totally. We love making mood boards. I really push that
can you
we
scroll down to
start.
it?
Yeah, sure. So this is the mood board for concept one. And sometimes this is a very specific mood board showing a specific style of photography and how we would execute that. But you can have all types of things in a mood board. You can have examples of graphic design, examples of typography, color palette examples. It's kind of, if you think about it, if maybe a lot of people use Pinterest, a lot of times our clients will send us Pinterest boards that they've created, and we kind of cull that down and present like an inspiration board, which allows everybody to work off the same kind of the same level and give feedback based on this. So if there's a color that the client really doesn't like, or if there's something that you really identify with, we can focus in on that, and it just gives us a base level for everybody to kind of discuss creatively and something to look at. So that is what we were doing here. This is the first concept, which is shooting in a white studio. You can see it's focused on the product, but we really wanted to evoke this feeling of excitement and energy.
And
Um,
just to be clear for some folks who may not know,
and
you have photoshopped our products on top
that
of
is right.
example images just to get a sense of what it might look like. So these are not, we didn't actually take these pictures because someone saw that and asked, like, whoa, how'd you
Correct.
get all those pictures?
Yes, correct. A lot of the stuff that we put into mood boards is obviously other people's work. It's things that I mean, I think this campaign is probably a mix of like J. Crew and Kate Spade swipe, which is kind of what we call it. Um, and that's just, kind of something that you have to do because you haven't shot the campaign, but it's a way to talk about different aspects of it. So for this, what I spoke about was an all white set, so like a white background instead of maybe having a colored background. And what that would allow for is for us to layer type over it or pair it with, like a colored color block. But yeah, we photoshopped in the product just to kind of give a sense of how we would group the product, how much product we would include in each shot. Um,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. Awesome. And so let's just we're going to just hop off on a tangent for a second and talk about, you talked about the cohesiveness of the type, of the colors, of the style of images. Further down in this document, or perhaps it's the next one, we go into, oh, there you go. So this is the color palette that is associated with that particular concept. And let's talk a little bit about how color palette for campaigns should be deliberate and specific, and that the point of cohesivity is that like then all of your ad creative and email creative and landing pages and social stories and stuff all then kind of have this same mood or feeling, which is created by consistent and cohesive type and colors and stuff like that.
Yep, correct. So, what we did for this specific holiday color palette is we kept in mind the colors that we use for Boom, which are largely white, black, magenta, and light pink. I knew that we wanted to keep the type in the emails black. So, keeping that black, keeping
Well,
that
we actually we decided you could go salmon if you want. We won't get into the big
yeah.
black versus salmon battle of
I
2018
wanted
between.
Yeah, I wanted to keep for the holiday campaign. I wanted to keep the body copy pretty straightforward. So this is kind of a little expansion on the Boom's current color palette. So we have these two pinks, which are a little deviation.
Will you zoom
Tone.
in one degree on your screen, just like Command plus? I don't know if you can in a document.
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me zoom.
There you go. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So these two pinks are kind of riffs on the traditional Boom pink. This orangey red is a riff on the red that's in the Boom logo. And then we have the black. The blue is a little bit reminiscent of the clean campaign and also a color that's maybe unexpected in holiday, but also holiday neutral. So, and then you have the greens, which are obviously kind of your
Hashtag holiday neutral. You didn't even know about that if you weren't into branding.
yeah, but to your point
Holiday
of
neutral.
being consistent, what we'll do from here is once a concept or a palette is chosen, we'll do color breakdowns for like web colors, and then that will be what everyone across the board will be using for the holiday campaign. So the pink will be the same in the email as it is on Instagram, as it is on the landing page. And that creates an experience for the audience that is consistent, and when they see that, it triggers, oh, I'm in the Boom holiday campaign.
Which becomes so important as your business scales and you want to introduce new products and you want to run sales to people who have already been buying products from you, consuming your content. Like, it works, which it's why we do it. So okay, cool. So cohesive and deliberate color palette that goes with that you can send to your designer, or you can have them create for you, or you can send examples of stuff you like, etc. Awesome. Let's move forward.
Yep. Okay, so then this is just some kind of expanding on the mood board. These are some real examples, not for Boom, not created by us, that we found on the internet, of ways of layout. So layouts that we liked, and kind of just more conceptual very, very top line inspiration images. And then what we did is
Yeah, and you'll notice, go back up a little bit, like, and talk a little bit about that. Like notice that there's type laid over imagery that includes little portions of text. Notice how it's clean, and it's like it's an opinion. It's a specific direction. Like, you've got the 1-2 going on in each one of those images on the right. Like, there's a lot for someone who is going to create, even if someone has no assets from you other than a few product images and their own Photoshop. You've now given them or shown examples of something that you like, which you as the business owner or the person who's going to be engaging with someone who's going to be doing your graphic design can give to them as inspiration, because you don't get what you want unless you request something specific.
Yep, correct. And like, you could talk to your designer, or I could talk to Ezra about why I think, for example, this down layered type over the image works. I think
And you
that's
tried to rock that out on 2017 holiday page, and it got
there
nixed.
you go.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
remember that?
you like that, and you respond to that because it's impactful, because the blue and the red contrast, because it's an interesting image. Like, those are all reasons that you are reacting to that specific design, and that can be applied. That thinking can be applied to anything, not necessarily photo shoots. That can be applied to any type of design or campaign thinking. Cool. So then what we did is we wanted to show some actual application. So again, these are not the photos that we shot. This is just swipe stuff, but we kind of put together what we imagined an email to look like. And we took last year's emails to use as an example for copy and stuff like that. It's just placeholder for position only, but it's kind of thinking about how we wanted to make sure that this campaign and this shoot would work with what we needed to deliver on, which was having a call to action above the fold, showing a lot of different products in addition to the campaign imagery, having things be organized, the black on white type situation I spoke about, all of that stuff kind of wrapped together. And so a real life example helps give the client or your designer or whoever kind of an idea of how it would actually work, which is ultimately, the deciding factor, I think.
For sure. Awesome. This looks really good. Mm-hmm. So now you're showing it on some devices.
Yeah, this is like an example of maybe how it would work with the social feed that we currently have. These are some of like the current like social squares that we do, mixed in with like some holiday squares. Just, give them a little taste.
Yeah, what a banner might look like.
Mm-hmm.
Those are headline banners. So basically this what like I'm trying to like what you did was you as the creative director submitted this proposal for a campaign and concept to me. These business owners will be going to their designers to communicate. They're not going to be working with a creative director who's going to submit.
Mm,
They're going to be creating this concept, right? They're going to be giving the
I see.
direction and feedback. So
Mhm.
um, so let's talk about these. Like this is how it lays out in social. This is like what some images might be in the email. But I have a couple questions for you actually on this because we know it's good to give designers examples. Do you have any tips for how a business owner might find good examples to send to their designer beyond just signing up for emails and stuff of brands they like and following brands they like on social?
Sure. We are actually big advocates of using Pinterest for to research design examples. There's a great function if you go onto Pinterest, you can search by color. You can search by, you could type in, big type or something like that, or just even scroll into Pinterest and find an image you like. And once you click into that, a lot of times it auto populates other images like the one that you chose. And so that's a good way that everyone has access to kind of search for things, or you can follow boards or people that you like. Um, yeah. Okay, so if you go to see, yeah, see if you can look up, yes, so put in holiday for sure and see what happens. Yeah, holiday gifts, holiday gift guide. So you could kind of so scroll down and let me see if I can see something I like in here.
I'm feeling those cozy treat filled slippers.
I know. Yeah, so totally. So pick any of these, really.
Come on, look
Street
at
filled
this.
slippers. So, okay, so for this one, you could be like, wow, I really like that tall, skinny type. I like how there's an image, then it's the headline, then it's another second image. You know what I mean? And I think if you scroll all the way down, it'll say like more like this. Yeah. So this will be, I mean, it kind of depends on what it's like picking up, but that's for sure something I also think about.
I
Um,
always do. I always do like I always do stuff that's related to my product, right? So it's like I want
mhm,
to know about lip colors and what like because then I find like super compelling ways to represent the product in particular.
mhm,
Like look at like this is all gold for inspiration for like a future lip color. I love this one by the way. Look at that.
mhm.
That I'd be all over that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, cool. So
Yeah,
using Pinterest, that's a really good tip. Now we can
using Pinterest, using Instagram. I on Instagram there's a way to save posts as like save them to your little inspiration. It's a little flag on there. And I'm constantly doing that and then going back and referencing that when I have a specific project to do. Thinking about brands that are really established who have maybe done a whole bunch of like for example holiday campaigns, and then just googling that, like googling like Kate Spade like vintage campaign, and going to the image tab, and you'll just see people have been doing campaigns since like the dawn of time. So there's a ton of stuff out there. It's just kind of digging around and then really thinking about what's going to resonate with your audience, not necessarily with you personally. It's another tip that I would say. We're always trying to think about how can I elevate the brand with this campaign or this sale, and then how is that going to speak to the audience and how are they going to respond to that, because in the end that's who you're talking to. You're not like talking to your friends or yourself or your partner.
you want to communicate to the person who's going to be buying the product, not and a lot of people get emotionally involved and create stuff for themselves when they're not their customers. So that's a really good tip. Will you share your screen again and let's
Yep.
talk through? I also have the behind the scenes images from the photo shoot itself. Like we do have the resource to be able to do an actual custom shoot for our holiday campaign. Our holiday campaign's our biggest campaign of the year. And so I think it would be fun to let's quickly run through the rest of the examples here that you have in this spreadsheet, the typography and stuff like that. We don't have to go into the concept that we didn't choose. And then I want to jump into going through some behind the scene images from the photo shoot / the shot list, because the shot list, I think, is a really interesting thing to, even though it's kind of dry in as much as it's just lines of text, it's interesting to look at specifically the shots that you planned ahead of time and why we wanted the assets that came from those.
Yep, sure. So just to finish up this concept deck, regarding the typography, we expanded on this, but we wanted to do, a serif that relates to the Boom logo. So as you can see, like everything is a little bit of a riff on the mother brand, right? So it's just a little bit elevating a little bit, providing some like surprise and delight with
One of the things to consider is that a lot of people do not even have a specific and deliberate brand guide. They don't have set fonts. They don't have set colors. They're not like, most people are not that together. Most people built a product and are marketing it. You know what I mean? So,
okay. Yeah. Well, that's
just giving you context on who you're talking to, right?
Yeah. And you can do, that could be something that you think about when you do your campaign, like maybe doing something that's consistent for the campaign itself, or maybe you just focus on one thing. Maybe you're just like, you know what, this campaign is going to be red. Like that is what we're doing. The theme of the campaign is color.
Join the Red Table Talk, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, it can be, as long as you're focused and as long as you're consistent. I think that is the main thing, because that's what's going to resonate with your audience, and that's what's going to start to build that brand equity and like brand retention in their minds. All right. Okay, so let's go through. I'll do the shot list first, and then I can talk through that, and then we can look at some behind the scenes images. So this shoot was a 2-day shoot. It had models involved. We all obviously had the Boom product, a ton of Boom product on set. So overall, it was kind of twofold for me. I wanted to get campaign imagery that would incorporate the models, that would communicate this feeling of holiday and excitement, models with the product. But I also wanted to devote a large part of the second day to shooting the product itself in the holiday situation, because ultimately that's like what we're selling and that's what we want to show off. So up top here were some specific products that we were focused on. Just for our like new launches, like stuff that we want to push, stuff that's
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh yes.
Can you zoom in a little bit? I'll talk about that. Okay. So for us, for this holiday, we had specific products that we really wanted to promote, right? Like Boom Clean and Boom Scrub are new products. They're exciting. They've each only, like Boom Scrub's only been around a couple months. Boom Clean's only been around half a year. We have great margins on those products. Trio is our #1 seller. Nectar is a very high priced item, so we have good margin on it. Boom Bags are our bundles. So like we focused the products in that we wanted to pull out and promote in the holiday campaign to maximize average order value / return on investment, because the bigger price tickets that they buy, the better, and to promote the newest members of our family, of our product family, because again, like this, who buys during the holidays are your past customers, buyers, subscribers, fans for the most part. And so we want to start getting them into we want to start getting these new products at the forefront of their mind, getting them using them. So that's why we chose those products in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's just kind of something that I put at the top to keep in mind. And what I do is put this together beforehand, send it out to the crew beforehand. I have a meeting each day with the crew, with the photographer, even the makeup artist, the models. And so we're all on the same page about what we're trying to achieve and what's important. And that's kind of the purpose of a shot list. So these are things that I definitely wanted to make sure that we captured. I knew that we were going to be doing a micro site. for the holiday campaign. And so beforehand, I got the dimensions of the banner that we needed for the top. And so I wanted to make sure that I got an image or a bunch of images that could work for that. So kind of keeping in mind your deliverables. So if you're going to do an email campaign, keeping in mind where the image or the graphics are going to live on that, and kind of, where their home is and how they fit in relation to the other things that are on the page. So that kind of, we'd shot some GIFs. I wanted to have like a loose concept in mind for that. When you get on set, you kind of see how the models act, like see what the interest is in the product and kind of play off of that. So this is just a very loose idea structure for us to kind of then drill down on.
I love it. And one of the things I want to mention is that if you don't do a photo shoot, you can still create GIF imagery by stitching together pictures of products you already have. And like one of my favorite parts of all the campaigns that you've done for us is the movement in the images, in the emails, and that we get to use those GIFs as ads as well. Very specific, and sometimes it's just a rotation of product images with some type overlaid. So pretty much anyone could create that if they already have product imagery asset and they have a graphic designer or someone who can lay type over or stitch a GIF together.
Yep. I mean, you could just have, like, going on the red theme, you could just have a big block of red with white type over it saying holiday sale 2018. The next image in the GIF is an image of your product. The next image in the GIF is like another red block with white type over it saying buy now. And there you go. You got a GIF. Just rotates through those three images. So kind of thinking about that, GIFs are a way to kind of introduce an element of storytelling because it's not just one single image or shot. Yeah, so that was day one, and then day two, Ezra, let me know if you want me to expand on any of this, but this is kind of with the models. We had two of the models there again, and then product specific shot I wanted to get.
Well, just to say that, like, you only ever have two kinds of images, right? You have traditional product photography, which is your product in multiple angles from, just product from multiple angles, generally on a color, generally on white, but in our case, we're shooting on a lot of colored backdrops, which is really nice. And then you have your product in lifestyle / in context, which means it's being used in its intended environment by its intended people who are going to be using it. And so those are really only ever the two types of images that exist for e-commerce. And with our photo shoot here, we were getting both for the same campaign. And hey, we had products, and we had props because that was the theme where people were throwing stuff around and you had a fan and you were blowing confetti and shit. But It's like the goal here with your photo shoot, if you business owner are doing one, is that you want to end up with both after the shoot's over. You want some in context / lifestyle / in its intended environment images. And you want some product images. And what we did here, and you can look at and read our specific shots so you can get more info on it. But basically, that's what was being created. And also, we had a layer on top of that, which was these images were being filtered with specific props, and then in editing are likely going to be filtered further by adding colors and things like that. So we're going a step even deeper, but you could do it on your iPhone and you could achieve similar results.
Yeah. And I
mean,
think also,
obviously you're not going to get a professional photo shoot out of your iPhone, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, hey. Yeah, and I think in thinking about the shot list too, how you were saying with showing the product in lifestyle being used, that's a really important thing for our audience is selecting models and having the models emote so that our audience connects with them and thinks, oh, that is just like me, or oh, that's how you use that product. Oh, wow, I could use it like that, or showing kind of like how it works, like why you would want it. There's a little bit of a level of aspirational in the shots, but also they're very relatable. And that was something that you always want to keep in mind with your audience.
It's so funny how deep monkey see, monkey do goes. I mean, it's like literally all product imagery on one level, and all campaigns are get someone to want to look and feel and be like that, right? People copy what inspires them, what makes them feel. And so we've got a bunch of happy women who are rocking their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and they look like they're having a lot of fun and they're using our products, and all the women who see that are like, I want to be that person. And that's the
Yeah.
goal at the end of the day, right?
Yep, for sure. And it's also enhancing our core brand values, which are like a natural product, something that's safe to use, something that's very simple. So all of,
Cool. So let's do now, go through some of the imagery, either behind the scenes or the sneak peek rough images from the shoot. And we kind of talk a little bit about how things turned out and how we're going to apply those.
okay.
Behind the scenes, this kind of just shows what the shoot looked like.
Yeah.
And you guys all hanging out on set, partying, having fun, making it
Yeah.
happen. Damn, look at that. That's Sydney's hair in that photo.
Yeah. So here we are like setting up the product shot. So it's like what we'll see in this shot, for example, is super cropped in, but it's really just a piece of blue paper on another piece of blue paper. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So here, yeah, here's with the fan, so just like making
Totally.
it
Which was
work.
my point about those are
And
product shots on a specific color, which adds a lot, actually.
they look a
Really
little bit
makes
sad
you
in this
feel
shot,
in a
but
way
you'll
that just
see
on
in
white
some
doesn't.
of
I'm a big
my
fan of.
sneak peeks that it's all about like what you see through the camera, right? So it's all about the crop. Here's the set. Here's me talking to the
Got those
models. So as
streamers,
I
right? Look at those
mentioned,
streamers. Those
at
are
the
the
beginning of
Kate
each day, I
Spade
like to make
style.
sure everyone on the crew really understands the brand and really understands the point of view. And I had printed out um, like some inspirational women imagery. A lot of that I got on Pinterest um, to kind of like help them, get comfortable, see how to pose, feel empowered. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and those are like yeah, and it's very it makes them
So
excited
you
too,
gave
and
them the,
that's something that I
like, for the
really believe
models
in is that
specifically, like,
everyone
look,
on
this
set
is
needs
the
to feel like they're
inspiration. Look at
having a
how these
good
women look.
time
Look at how they're
and
feeling. It's nice. You got Mae Musk up there at the top, I think, and you got Carmen too. I know a lot of those models from they used to model with. Well, let's talk about real quick, just as a tangent, how you set the intended feel, and you have things like how do you set the tone for a space and an experience? Are you making sure there's you giving people telling them listen here, like, I don't know, how
yeah,
what little touches are you doing to have people feel included and welcome and taken
yeah,
care of and excited to
yeah,
participate
it's
as the
true.
person who is
Um
responsible. I don't even go to these things anymore, right? At first I used to go to them, then I was like,
yeah,
well, I'm not, nobody asks me about anything, nobody care, I am not
correct.
doing anything at here other than being like, this is awesome. So now I don't think I've attended the last four or something, right?
Mhm.
So you are the person on the set who's responsible for, you're the end of the line, you're guaranteeing the
I like
operation,
to start
which is
out with
a
when I'm
semi
organizing the shoot.
terrifying
So when
position to be in,
I'm
right? I am a
selecting the
person who
photographer,
guarantees a lot of
communicating with
operations,
the
right? I'm the end of
models,
the line for whether or not the
have
business
a really
succeeds and
open
everyone
door
has their paycheck.
policy.
So
So I get on the
when
phone
you're
with
in
them
this
and
role of
explain
like
the
it all
shoot,
falls on
explain
you,
the
how are you
concept,
making people feel
send
good in
them the
that?
approved concept back, ask them if they have any questions, ask them if they're interested in it. Have they used the Boom products before? 100%. Yeah, I'm very much of the idea that I don't want this to be intimidating at all. That's not what Boom is.
And you
It's not that
find
kind of shoot.
that
I want
that
them to
level
be
of
very comfortable and
pre-framing
feel
slash
like they can talk to
getting
me
on the
if they
same
need
page
anything.
really
Like
makes a
I
difference. Once
get their
people show up, they feel
dietary
way more
requests.
in.
I'm asking them what their sizes are for wardrobe. It's a very personal experience, and I'm essentially asking everyone to perform and work for me. So I want to make sure that they feel good about the end product that they're creating too. And so there's a lot of stuff that happens before the shoot, like getting on the phone with them, showing them the concept deck, asking them if they have any questions, asking them if they want to talk through anything. And then when we get onto set, I you'll see it's I always I have the crew, so like the photographer, the makeup artist, the photographer's assistant, the catering all show up before I have the models show up. And so that kind of has the models walking into something that's already set up. And then we all have breakfast or coffee. And that's when we'll talk about the shoot. We'll go over the mood boards, the shot list, when we're going to have lunch, when they can expect to be released. So it's like details like that, but also, making it fun, like having a playlist, going out for a coffee run, like showing them on the computer what the images look like preview of that. And I think that all helps. Yeah, and it is fun. And like, how lucky are we to be able to do that? And also, we really believe in the product. So I think that passion needs to come through in the imagery. And luckily,
Right.
we like preview of that. And I think
Sure, you're making a party out of it. You're making it fun. It's not just, you know,
yeah, and like how lucky are we to be able to do that? And also, we really believe in the product. So I
totally.
think that passion needs to come through in the yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean
and
we're like
I don't,
texting you
I
and
just want to say
emailing
I don't
you
recommend not
throughout
going to
the
your
day
photo
too,
shoots.
and it's
I've been
like
extremely busy, but it's super fun to be
yeah,
on
for
the set
me, for my
during the
position,
creation of
I want to make
assets that are
sure that
designed to
all
celebrate your
parties are
brand. Like you should
happy, and that
definitely go to
includes
them.
the
I'm not trying to
people
brag
who
about
are
like I
working
don't
to
even
create the
attend these things. Like I
assets.
want to
So
attend them, but it
I
just has
think if
worked out that
there's
I
a
haven't
really
been
clear
able to.
understanding of our end goal and the qualities that we're trying to push through, then ultimately it'll be easy to create the imagery or to create the graphic design, because you're working from one consistent shared foundation. Okay.
Awesome. Yes. So let's look through the sneak peek images, rough images. These will be
Yeah.
leveraged
These are
in
unretouched too. So
advertisements.
as
These will
you
be
remember,
leveraged
you
in
saw those little
emails. These will be
streamers
leveraged
hanging down. So here
on
they are.
postcards that we send in the box. These will be leveraged in
Yes.
GIFs. So there's a lot of applications for the images. Damn, look at how good that looks. That's crazy.
These are unretouched too. So
Yeah.
as you remember, you
And
saw those little streamers hanging down. So here
yeah,
they are.
but just like prop extravaganza, right? So the mood is like for me having gotten the concepts, agreed to like great, this is like what we're shooting for, and then to come back with this like if you are in the position and there are some people who are going to be consuming this content, probably a very small amount who might be in the position of being a services
Mm-hmm.
agency that does this kind
Yeah.
of stuff for e-commerce business owners. We do have a segment of our market who is that.
Yeah.
This is how you get the business owner to be
That's a
stoked with
no.
your
That's a
result is you
rental.
tell them this is how it's going to look
That's
beforehand,
a
and then you
rental
deliver something
couch.
that's similar to the
I don't
concept, which is
know.
like all the cool
But it's
props, the
so
product's looking
interesting
good,
because
people being happy,
the color
and
really
anyways,
looks
very
much
cool.
different on
Ribbons,
camera than it does
boxes,
in
products,
person,
mirrors,
which is like
streamers,
something to take
a
into
fancy red couch.
consideration
Where did
too.
you get
So
that? Was that
you'll
in that
notice that
space?
all the colors in this shot correspond with the color palette. So the pink, the reds, the blue, the green, the black. Um, so everything is consistent, even if it's not a straight graphic design asset. It still kind of has that. So this is what was shot on just that piece of colored background that was taped to the wall. Obviously a lot of this has to do with lighting, and we have a fantastic photographer. So a lot of that is to her credit, but this just kind of shows you. Yeah, even with an iPhone these days. I mean, seriously. So the girls were eating them. I mean, those are pretty yummy, huh? Yeah, so
But you can get there, man, even with a low budget and even without much skill, you can get good enough.
even with an iPhone
Yeah,
these days.
totally.
I mean,
So who ate all these pastries after
yeah,
the shot?
yeah. So it's like a range, right? So here's
Yeah, they
Mariko
look pretty
with
good. I
the
I love that we've got little
trio.
macaroons with
Here
blackberries
we
and cream.
have like
That's a whole
the
other level.
suitcases. So I wanted
You
to
start
kind of
bringing in
bring in
fruit
an
tarts and
element of
things. You've
travel
gone,
for holiday,
you've
and
moved
that's
up
a
a
way to
level in the
do
game.
that. Um, Here's some of the product on that background. Oh, here are the girls. Yeah. 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 And obviously we use the product on them. So like all so Boom is used in
Wow, the best. And notice how, like, I want to buy that product. I want to be those ladies. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, and obviously we use the product on them. So
Totally,
like all
totally.
so Boom is used pretty great, huh? And so here's like this is like kind of a way to do confetti or glitter without it being looking tacky or over the top. We want to really keep this elevated level of brand communication for Boom, but we want to introduce a little bit of fun. Like everyone knows what confetti is, but it doesn't have to be. It's just all about the perspective. Yeah.
I love it. So, in closing, um, let's just kind of recap it, right? Like, you want to have an opinion, you want to make people feel, you want to make a point, you want to be, you want a cohesive look and feel and style and deliberate uh, picture, and that includes colors, typography, how the products are laid out, where, how, the people who are in the shots with the products and their expression slash emotion. The goal is a cohesive set of visual assets that start in image form that you can leverage to make GIFs. You can also shoot videos at the same time that you can use across your campaign. Do you have anything you want to close with there? Or did I
Yeah,
do
I
it? Did
mean,
I do it justice?
I think you did. I think it's, thinking it through start to finish, planning it out. You can start small, you don't need to be intimidated by like a large shoot or something like that. Just, go on Pinterest, see some stuff you like, see what other people are doing, see how something might make sense for your audience. And then at the end of the day, what do you want them to take away? How do they want to feel? What experience are they having with your sale or with your product? And then how can you enhance that and make that the best possible?
Absolutely. And there's a non quantifiable value of reinvesting your money back into better expressing your product line and viewpoints and story that, we did for 6 years. We just used a graphic designer and traditional product photography on white and video, and we made the best of it that we could until we had the resource to invest in more expansive and deliberate photo shoots like this one. So, like, don't be overwhelmed by what you're seeing here. This is an evolved brand that's 8 years old who now can do this, right? You can take the ideas and implement them in whatever way that you can, and it will still work better than if you didn't. Um, what's your website, Allison?
So my studio is called Best, and our website is keepitbest.com.
Keepitbest.com.
Keep it
Allison
best.
Matheny, ladies and gentlemen, throwing it down. Thank you so much. That was really fun and thorough and awesome, and I think going to be extremely valuable for our watchers. So, with that, I'll see you on Slack.
All right, see ya.